Want help to grow your business? Download BRiN, the world's first business advisor in your pocket. To find out more, visit BRiN.ai or search the App Store today.
Hi and welcome to The Tradie Show. I'm Andy and this is my wife Angela. And today we're going to talk about the 6 low-cost marketing ideas for trade-based businesses.
Huge topic, this one, and one that we know is really, really important for every trade business because it's one that a lot of tradies actually don't even focus on. Unfortunately for that, as we well know, that in any business, if you don't market, what happens?
You die.
You die, yeah. So really, really important subject. Because what you really want to do, of course, is to attract A-grade clients. You want to give them an amazing service. You want to increase average dollar sale while you're there and actually keep them for life.
You do.
Don't you? So here's what we know. The biggest problem that we see with a lot of trade business owners is exactly like a trapdoor spider. They just sit there and wait for their meal to come along and actually walk past their door. But the problem is,
it doesn't always happen that way.
No, well, sometimes it takes like a couple of weeks before something actually walks past.
Yeah, I think we all start business and we expect work to come flooding through the door, and sometimes that happens at the start. We've got friends and family and then it starts. But then all of a sudden you're looking around going, well, hang on, running a business is a bit harder. And you always need to be bringing in new clients. So I hear of a lot of guys, and a lot of the one-man shows can work on this whole word of mouth and repeat customers if they do it well. But the trick is you really need new customers coming in just to help, because you don't always keep your customers for the long term. Sometimes they're not happy with your service. A lot of the times they just forget who you are. And sometimes they just jump onto Google and type in plumber or whatever trade you are, and they just go to the next person. So it's really important to make sure that you do have leads coming in the door.
So here within lies the problem, right, with trade business owners, is that they literally just sit there and wait for the phone to ring. It's something that you really can't do. You can't just sit there and wait because the phone's not going to call unless you actually do some marketing to your customer.
And the interesting thing is, we're talking to people constantly, talking to tradies constantly. And some of the biggest issues, sometimes it's staff and sometimes it's marketing and sometimes it's new leads. But, we talk to people and how are you? Are you busy at the moment? And they go, no, I'm not really that busy. I've been quiet for a few weeks or maybe a month. And so what are you doing about that? And they're like, they sort of look at you like, what do you mean, what are you doing? I said, well, are you trying to attract new leads? And they're like, no. You're like, why? Why aren't you trying to do this? And they sit back and they're actually just waiting for people to ring them.
Yeah.
And it's a waiting game. And sometimes you do have those customers ring you, but a lot of times you don't. And you need to fill up those down times to make sure with those new leads coming through the door. So it doesn't matter if you're a small business or a large business. I mean, obviously, if you've got a bigger team, you need those leads coming in a lot more than a smaller team, but you always need leads. And
the only way you're going to get them is through marketing.
And the only way you're going to get it is through marketing. And the trick is, in business, you need to have that fresh meat really coming in the door.
That's an interesting analogy.
Yeah. But you do. You need to have something new coming through the door so you can keep working with.
Right. There's another huge issue that we know that trade business owners actually face, and it's the fact that a lot of trade business owners say to us when we ask them, so what are you doing with respect to marketing? Like, what are you doing to attract these new leads into your business? And they say, oh no, they'll call, it's okay, like everything's going to be okay, don't they? Yeah, they're really positive.
Yeah, we've touched on it a bit already, but the fact is, they're very positive with the fact that, and I think in all businesses, you have your up weeks and your down weeks, and sometimes a big job will happen, and depending on your trade and what you do, but you need to have consistent work. And I think some people, and I've seen it out there where they've got no work and they think, it'll get better, but then next month I've still got no work. It'll get better. Next month I've still got no work. And I was talking to a customer, a tradie not long ago, and they were saying they've been quiet and they've actually had a pretty poor year.
Right.
Which was really interesting. And when I said to them, so what sort of marketing are you doing? And they were going through a few things, but one of the simple things is just to look after your existing customers. And over 20 years of business, they've never once sent anything to their existing customers. And I'm like, well, how do you know they remember even who you are? Because depending on your trade, obviously building a house, people aren't building a house every year. It may be 5 years, 10 years, 30 years. But if you're in a more of a service industry, people may use you once every 2 or 3 years. So, in 2 or 3 years' time, are you really going to remember the tradie that you last used?
Yeah, absolutely. So although it's really great to have a positive attitude about not, sitting there thinking, oh, but the phone will call, I'll eventually get some people and they'll be okay. Positive attitude is awesome. Like, it's good for you, for your mindset, but it's actually not going to make the phone ring, right? And to be honest, once talking to the tradies that we talk to all the time, once you start scratching the surface and dig a little deeper, even though they might have this fantastic positive attitude on the outside, in actual fact, and this could be you, in actual fact, when you start talking to them, they're actually really fearful about the fact that, that maybe there's not enough people coming in the door, which is pretty obvious, which means if you don't have enough customers coming through, it means you're not making money, which means there isn't a strong enough turnover, which means you're not paying enough wages, which means you make no profit, and all of a sudden it becomes really stressful.
I think the thing is, you mentioned there, you're not making enough profit. The one thing I talk to people about, some of them are like, yeah, no, I've got enough work and I'm doing okay. But are you making good money with those customers? Like, a lot of people are just happy to have enough work, but they're not realising that, that A, B and C and D customers, that a lot of their customers are D customers that really don't pay very well, don't pay on time, and they're happy working, but they're earning in their business a mediocre wage, sometimes less than their staff. And that's because they're not marketing and bringing new people in the door, because anyone can get customers. If you want to work for nothing, anyone can get customers, but it's a way of positioning yourself and pushing the calibre of your customers up to make sure you're actually getting customers that you can make a decent living out of.
Right. So all fantastic conversation, but the other thing that we know that tradies have a huge problem with that they say to us is, that's all good and well and you're telling me that I need to market, but I actually don't know how. I don't know what to do. I don't know where to start, because the reality is, like you went to TAFE or whatever, you've done your training and you actually learnt how to be excellent on the tools. Like, you're a brilliant tradie in your own right, but you've kind of, in a sense, been set up to fail, is what I believe. You've had no business training.
You haven't, and I think the big thing is, a lot of people, if you had endless money, where would you market? And they look at a lot of the big boys and they think, oh, we could do this and this. Oh, that's a lot of money. I can't afford that. Exactly. I don't want to do that. And then you shy away from it because you think marketing's all about costing mega dollars. And what we're going to talk about today is some low-cost marketing ideas that we put in our business, we work with our members constantly with. And it's just little things that just bring those leads in the door to make a massive difference over the year.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's go there. So to be able to talk about marketing, the first place you really need to understand and review is this marketing muscle of the 3M. So this thing's actually really, really important. So this will kind of just set the foundations to give you a bit of a base understanding of what you need to consider. So let's take you through this. So the first thing is with regards to your market. So you need to actually consider who it is that you're talking to. This is the who. So this is your avatar. If you had to pick one person that, if you could say, if I just had a flood of this one type of client, because they're an A-grade client, which means they respect what you're doing, they pay you on time, they don't stop work, they have a constant flow of work with you, or a style, maybe it's like a residential clients, or maybe it's like strata work or commercial work, like whatever that is, and pick exactly one person. Who is that to you? So you need to nail that. You do. I mean, it's very important to know your avatar. We talk about that constantly, but you've really got to build your whole marketing around your avatar. That's right.
And the who and who you want to target, because we all know there's certain clients that are easier to deal with. We all know there's certain clients that bring in extra money and bring in extra profit. And so why market to the D customers? And why spend money on customers that aren't really what you want? So you need to make sure that you're picking the best customer, and the money you are spending on marketing, even though it's low cost, is target them first, and then you can work your way down.
That's right. So once you actually have this person in your mind, the next thing you actually need to consider is the message. So what are you actually talking to them about? So think about what that person needs you for. So what solution are you trying to resolve in their property? So this is all about the what. So what solution is it? What problem do they have, and what solution do you provide? And not with respect to, you're doing a dig up and I'm going to clear, even though it is, you have a blocked drain in your house, for instance. It's the fact that you're allowing, say they've, this is going to sound terrible, but sewer all over their backyard or whatever, you're actually preventing the children from actually playing in the backyard. So you're actually talking to that mum as an example about what you're actually doing to free up the space to ensure the children can play.
Yeah, you've got to target your avatar. You've got to work out who they are, and we talk about that. And then it's the what. What style of work do you want to target? For us, owning a plumbing company, we're looking at block drains, we're looking at hot waters, we're looking at pipe relining, we're looking at emergency work. If you're a builder, you may be saying, well, I want new...
To continue enjoying this presentation, download BRiN, the world's first business advisor in your pocket. To find out more, visit BRiN.ai or search the App Store today.